There's this really risky assumption floating around in the self-storage world, and it's kind of hiding in plain sight. It's this idea that if you're successful, you're automatically safe. But what if that very success is actually your biggest blind spot? This all really came into focus at a recent industry meetup.
So check this out. This is the quote that really got the whole conversation started. A self-storage broker, Andreas Makaris, went and visited over 300 different facilities. And his number one finding was, honestly, it was kind of staggering. The majority of the single-owner operators he met, they don't have a website. I mean, in today's world, that's almost like not existing at all.
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of it. Because when Andreas would ask them, hey, why don't you have a website? The answer was always the same. We're 98% full, we're happy. So here's the paradox we're going to unpack. Can being this successful actually be dangerous for your business?
Yeah, let's call it the 98% occupancy paradox. It's this mindset where these longtime owners feel absolutely zero pressure to change anything. I mean, think about it. If the money keeps rolling in and that no vacancy sign is pretty much always on, why on earth would you do anything differently?
So let's paint a picture of this typical operator based on what Andreas saw. We're talking about single-owner operators who've been in the game for over a decade. They are consistently full, but they almost never raise their rates. The property itself is usually paid off, so the cash flow is great, and their whole motto is simple. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're comfortable. And that comfort, well, that's the real problem.
Okay, so while they're sitting back feeling comfortable, the world is not standing still. And let's look at the first big threat this creates: security. The old way of doing things, just passively recording a crime after it's already happened, is quickly becoming obsolete.
The new standard is something called proactive video monitoring. And the goal here is to completely flip the script. It's not just about getting evidence for the police later, it's about using smart tech to stop an intruder before they can do any damage.
So here's how it actually works. First, really smart analytics detect a person or a vehicle, and it can tell the difference between a person and, say, a plastic bag blowing in the wind. That detection triggers an immediate alert to a live specialist who assesses the threat right then and there. Then comes the real game changer, a direct, live audio warning.
And I absolutely love this quote from Zane at NetWatch because it just cuts right to the chase. The technical term they use in the industry is, quote, yell at them, and that's literally what they do. A specialist gets on speakers right there on site and yells at the person. They'll describe what they're wearing, what they're doing, and tell them to leave immediately or the authorities will be on their way. It's direct, it's personal, and man is it effective.
Just how effective are we talking? 98%. That is the percentage of intruders who just bolt the second they hear a live voice calling them out. They realize they've been discovered and they are gone. That's not just security, that's powerful deterrence.
But look, that reactive mindset isn't just a security problem. It's a huge business problem. A physical threat is one thing, but a threat to your bottom line, that can be even more devastating. And Andreas, that broker we were talking about, shared a really powerful personal story that proves it. This was his own facility, and for years, it was 100% full, with $0 spent on marketing. Business was great. By his own admission, he was in that same comfortable, reactive mindset.
And then the market changed. A brand new, modern competitor built 70,000 square feet of new storage right down the road. This was the wake-up call that completely shattered his if it ain't broke strategy.
The result was just devastating. 1 year after that competitor opened up shop, his occupancy plummeted from a perfect 100% down to just 60%, a 40% drop. That is the price of complacency when a proactive competitor decides to move in.
So this isn't just about one security system or one competitor. It's really about a fundamental shift in the entire industry. To survive now means you have to move from a reactive posture to a proactive one.
And the difference between the two is just stark. I mean, old school is using paper rent rolls, new school is using management software, old school has no website, new school is driving online rentals and marketing. Old school waits for things to break, new school is analyzing the competition every single day. In every way, it's a huge shift from being reactive to being proactive.
And this brings the question directly to you. Are you waiting for your occupancy to drop 40%? Are you waiting for a major break-in to finally make a change? As Andreas pointed out, most people learn the hard way. They wait for a painful change in their business to force them to adapt.
So we've looked at two really different threats, right? There's the physical risk from intruders, and then there's the business risk from competitors. But there's a single underlying danger that actually connects them both. What is it?
Well, let's go back to that core idea from the security playbook.
Proactive monitoring works because it plays on a thief's deepest fear: being seen, being called out, being discovered. It removes all their anonymity and forces them right out of the shadows.
And that brings us to our final question. For an operator today, maybe the biggest fear shouldn't be a thief discovering a vulnerability in your fence. Maybe the real threat is being so comfortable that you fail to discover that your competition has already left you completely in the dark.